Are we on?
I think we're on. This was painful.
This was very painful. We apologize, everybody, if you were waiting right at 1 p.m. to see this. We had some technical challenges with how Facebook now does live video.
Yeah, they have made some changes, which we will get figured out before the next Pet Talk.
Indeed, we will. Yes. So, thank everyone for joining us, for your patience. This is a really important topic, especially this time of year.
Yeah.
So we've got Shannon with us. She is our front desk supervisor. So when you come to visit Greater Androscoggin Humane Society, you more than likely see her smiling face, and she is smiling behind the mask.
Half of it, at least.
We can smile with our eyes. And I'm Katie. I'm the executive director here, and we are super excited to be talking about stray cats and finding kittens outdoors. And it's in honor of Kitten Shower Week.
You guys probably saw that we've been doing our kitten shower a little bit differently this year. We have been doing a week-long event, accepting donations, trying to give some education about topics concerning kittens and cats in our care, our foster program, different things like that. So you probably already know. If you're following us, you probably know that it's Kitten Shower Week. But we thought this was a great time to tackle this topic.
It is, and it's just such an important topic because we field these questions almost every day.
Oh,
certainly every week.
Yes, absolutely, multiple times a week.
And this is, down in the South, they have, it's pretty much year-round kitten season. But up here with the cold weather, we do see outdoor cats kind of behaving like wildlife in that they will have babies at certain times of the year, namely the warmer months, when they're able to care for those babies. So this time of year, coming into June, is just prime kitten season when we start seeing a lot of real young babies being born, both indoors if your cat's intact, or outdoors.
Yeah, I think that we often think of kittens coming in the spring as soon as spring hits, but realistically we're now seeing, I would say June and into July is when we really are seeing that kind of explosion of kittens, because we're seeing kittens that have been born in our care that are now old enough to be adopted, but we are seeing more kittens being found by community members or being born into homes in our community. So really kitten season for us, it hits right now. It's starting to hit.
It does. And we start talking about kittens because we're preparing. So we talk about fostering in the spring, and we talk about collecting donations of cat litter and kitten milk replacer and all the things we need. And that's to prepare us for the wave of young little babies that need lots of one-on-one attention.
Yeah, the kitten invasion. I remember that video we made, I think it was like 2 years ago, and they were like, the kittens are coming. Yes. And that's kind of how it is for us. Absolutely.
It is. Yes, absolutely. So today we wanted to really focus in on finding cats and kittens outdoors. So we know that there are stray cats throughout our community. And you kind of hear different terms tossed around. You might hear about a feral cat, or you might hear about a stray cat, or a lost cat, or a community cat. And we're talking about that kind of pool of cats that are a little unknown, that are just wandering around outside. And I think an important thing to note is a lot of those cats are owned. Those are owned cats, and some, they have a family nearby. But Maine law does not put any restrictions on owned cats just wandering around outside. They're
allowed to be outside.
They're allowed to be outside. Not like dogs, where we have a leash law. Cats don't have that. So you might be seeing, if you open your door and there's a little kitty there and he seems friendly, and you worry, what do I do? Do I need to take this cat to the shelter? Chances are it probably isn't a neighbor cat that's just coming by and saying hello.
Or you've been a good Samaritan, put out food, and now they're like, hey, I can go over to Susie's house and have a snack.
Absolutely.
We just had one come in the other day that was 3 houses down, and she's like, I've been seeing this cat for like a month. I brought it in. Sure enough, the cat was microchipped, and we were able to connect it with its owner, and
couple doors
they're
away.
Like, it's just an indoor-outdoor cat who wanders around a little bit, and they had been going for snacks at the neighbors.
So this makes it really, really challenging to know, when does a cat need help? And there's a really interesting study. It came out a handful of years ago down at the University of Georgia, I believe. And they put little like GoPro cameras on owned cats that go outdoors. And they found that the owned cats, they had their own territory. And it usually was, kind of a few blocks. Some of the males had wider territories that they wandered around, which makes sense. But the funny thing is they had a total routine of going to all of the neighbors that put out food. And it was almost like clockwork on the video. You would like 11 a.m., Bob shows up at the Henderson's house and he gets his treats and he lays on their porch for an hour. And then 1 o'clock, he's over at the Smith's house.
Because they put out wet food, so he's going over there.
And they had cats that were going indoors to people's houses and sleeping in the bed and then leaving and going to the next house. And they had cats that 4 people claimed them as their own cats. Oh my gosh. So
do you know what it would be
so
like?
Funny.
I'm old enough that I remember like the family circle. They still have it, where they'd show like, "Hey, bring this to your dad in the study," and they'd show the cartoon, and the kid would go all through the house, and they'd have the little line. I think that's exactly what the cats would be like.
The cats are doing.
It would be like going all through the neighborhood and stopping.
Yes. So, long story short, a lot of the kitties outdoors are actually fine and are owned and are probably just exploring their neighborhood. Something that we put together and we've started adding it to our if you found a cat or if you found an animal on our website. So the tips are going to be there and we're going to put this video there as well. But a really good indicator is the condition of the cat. Especially for the adults. If you're seeing a cat that's in really good shape, he's got, a healthy looking coat. He looks like he's got a good weight. He's up, he's just wandering around. He's confident, he's happy, he's vocalizing.
He's coming around when you're there, like approaching people.
He's approaching. Yep, he's interacting with other animals in the neighborhood and he just seems like he belongs there. Chances are
he does.
He lives there. That's his home territory, and more than likely he's got a home or multiple that he claims as his own. So when you're finding cats, don't have the immediate reaction of, oh my goodness, this cat is is really in need. I need to bring him to the shelter immediately. There are some steps to do first. And one of those is to ask around.
Absolutely. Talking to your neighbors. I know now a lot of people use the neighborhood app.
Next Door.
Next Door. Is that what it's called? Yeah, I don't do it, so I'm not sure. But yeah, Next Door.
Yeah.
Also, just getting it out amongst, if you have friends in your area too that are kind of close by, sharing it with people on Facebook, that can be helpful. Yeah. I don't want to overstep our list here, but Maine Lost Cat Recovery,
that's a great
right
one.
here on Facebook. They are excellent at helping people. I'll just wait.
We got surgery going on right now.
Yeah. So Maine Lost Cat Recovery here on Facebook. They'll help you create a flyer for a lost cat. You can also report a found cat to them or simply scroll through and see if someone's missing a cat in your area or look for the photos. We also, this goes more to, in one sense, lost cats. We partner with the Petco Foundation, and they have a service which used to be Finding Rover, which is the Petco Love Lost, which uses facial recognition to match up. So you can always create a profile for a cat that you find there and report it. Because if someone reports a missing cat, those will get matched up together. It also does scan the cats that are brought in here to the shelter as well. So, but as finding a cat goes, you can create a profile for them on that program. It's free to you. And that way you can just hopefully hook up with an owner that may have reported somebody missing.
Absolutely. And taking a picture, making a little flyer, and you kind of walk around the neighborhood. Have you, is this your cat? And they might be like, no, but I know that's Bob's cat. He lives a couple of houses down. We see him all the time too. And it's a great way to meet your neighbors too if you don't know them already.
Absolutely.
One other thing that you can try is putting a paper collar on the cat. And it may sound kind of weird, but just take a piece of, slip of paper big enough to go around and tape it on, and you write on it, and it says, this cat's been visiting me. If you're the owner, please call, and then put your phone number on it. for peace of mind, or however you want to write it, but it's so that the owner, when the cat goes home, realizes, oh, somebody's curious
and somebody's worried about my
kitty.
cat.
Someone's worried about my cat.
And Katie, why would they use a paper collar?
Paper collar is easy. That way we're not worried about the cat getting caught on anything, especially if the kitty's not used to wearing a collar. Sometimes they're going to want to try to get it off, and if it tears, then it'll just come right off.
It's almost like a handmade breakaway collar.
A breakaway collar. It's exactly what it is. And it's easy. It's also very visible. So when they go home, the person's going to be like, what's this on you? Take it, pull it off, read it.
A Post-it won't work.
No.
You got to do a
right.
piece.
That's probably going to fall
That
off.
won't work.
No. You can also give us a call as a heads up, and we can check and see who we have reports on for lost cats in the area. And then another really good thing is either talking with your local veterinarian or us or animal control to get them scanned for a microchip.
Absolutely. That is also hey, this is my PSA. Everyone should get their pets microchipped. It's literally the single easiest way for us to do a matchup with an owner. Yeah. But here at the shelter, simply give us a call, schedule time to come in. We'll just do a quick scan on the cat. If we get a hit, we can look up that information, contact the owner right then. We always try to do that. We might not even need to take the pet into our custody. Yeah. If we can help make a match, we're going to make that happen. But I think most vets' offices would probably do that. If you have a vet that you use, certainly I think they would do that. Yeah. And I think all of our community ACOs in our contracted towns now do have microchip scanners, correct?
They do. Yep, they've got the portable ones that they should have right in their cars. So if they're able to swing by, especially if it's a cat you might not have an easy time getting into a carrier, they might be able to come and scan the cat right in the community, right where the kitty is. Yep. So that's a really good option. So there are some things that you can try to do to really determine whether that cat needs to come into a shelter or not. Now, one thing we were talking about kind of the condition of the cat, and that's for healthy cats. Those cats are looking good. They have good coats. They seem comfortable in their surroundings. If you're finding one that is in really bad shape, or is ill or is injured, then that shouldn't wait. Definitely call animal control as your first option. As a stray cat that is injured, animal control and the municipality does need, according to Maine law, needs to collect that animal and get it to veterinary care for stabilization. They're not going to be able to afford to, set a broken leg, but that's where we come in. So they get the animal to the veterinary community, to the veterinary clinic, and then they will call us and say, hey, here's the situation. This cat was hit by a car, or this cat has an injury, and we'll bring them into the shelter after they've already seen the vet initially. So if you're finding an injured cat, first call, number one, is to your local animal control officer. And if he's just looking scared, like,
that's what I was just gonna say,
skinny,
let's say the cat doesn't seem to be injured, you can't see anything, it's not limping, but it looks a little skinny, its coat's a little dirty, it looks a little I hesitate to use this because mange is an actual illness. It looks like we would say mangy. It looks like it's a little unkept. Just looks like it needs a little TLC. Certainly reach out to us as your first call.
Yes.
Because oftentimes those cats just need some hydration and a good meal and maybe a little tubby, a little bath, and then they're feeling much better. So certainly you can reach out to us in those cases.
Yeah. And certainly looking like they're not thriving where they are is often an indicator that they're new to that territory. They haven't figured it out yet. They don't know where to find food. Typically an indicator that they possibly are lost and do need that assistance. So those are really the cats you should be honing in on: injured, ill, appearing to not be comfortable in their community. Those are the ones for priority to get them assistance.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, what about, we often have people that say, oh my gosh, I found young kittens. And they show up on our doorstep and say, here are these kittens. And we say, well, where'd you find them? Oh, they were tucked away someplace, and the kittens are all bright-eyed and they look good. Should those kittens have come into the shelter necessarily?
Not necessarily. The best thing to do is to watch them, because more than likely mom is nearby and you scared her away. Like if they're under your shed and you were doing some yard work, you discovered them, more than likely mom is either off hunting to get food so she can feed the babies, or you scared her off and she is trying to go away to distract you from where the kittens are. So if usually we wouldn't want to wait more than a day, but watch for a day, even 4 hours, and just be far away, watch from inside your house, be like a little stalker, looking out behind the curtain to see if you see mom come back. Mm-hmm. And most likely, chances are she is going to come back. And then you can kind of just watch from a distance and make sure things are going okay until the kittens reach a little bit of an older age where they could come in and won't need, bottle feeding mm-hmm. every other hour. There's another really good, we're going to keep coming back to the condition of the cat or the kittens. If they're looking fat and happy and clean and they're all together, they're in a nice little spot. Definitely they're not in distress. They're not looking sick. They're not, runny eyes and goopy nose. That's when you definitely want to take a step back and see if mom comes back.
I was just like, because if they're in good condition like that, mom's taking care of them. Mm-hmm. She had to step out for a minute, or mm-hmm. like Katie said, she was scared off by your presence.
Mm-hmm. And we, certainly we always want to try to get mom with the kittens. And we're not saying that, you should just leave them for the rest of their lives out there. But if we can get mom, we're going to be able to put them into foster care together. Mm-hmm. She's going to be doing the feeding and the care, which is ideal. Absolutely. And then we're going to spay her and she won't have any more babies. So that's the gold standard.
Even if she is a cat who isn't suited for a typical home, mm-hmm. We can help get her placed into an appropriate spot, whether that as a barn cat or mm-hmm. it's just to a home that understands she's a little under-socialized. Yep. But don't be worried about what's going to happen to mom, because mom's going to get whatever type of home she needs. Mm-hmm. We're going to find that for her. We do work with a couple of other groups locally to help place cats if mm-hmm. we have one that it needs a little more of an independent lifestyle. Mm-hmm. But you definitely, keeping them together it's just the most important thing mm-hmm.
when
they're really young, because that's going to give the kittens the best start. The best success, the best rate of success mm-hmm. moving forward.
And mom can teach them what they need to learn as Absolutely. Young cats. They're learning while they're growing their bodies. I mean, so certainly health-wise it's the best for them, but also behaviorally. Mm-hmm. So they're learning from their mom. So definitely taking a look at the condition. If you're finding kittens that look thin, dirty,
gooey eyes,
they're sick, they're very underweight, which is a little difficult to tell based on the age, but they don't look good. Those definitely bring them into us. Mm-hmm. Ideally, if you can wait a little bit and see if mom comes back so we can get mom, but if the if the kittens really seem to be in distress, don't wait. Bring them to, mm-hmm. A local veterinarian or into us. If it's after hours, the emergency clinic, which is located right next to us on Strawberry Avenue, is a great option. And again, as strays, you want to stress that these are coming in from the municipality to cover some stray costs to get them stabilized mm-hmm. and then turn them over to us. Mm-hmm. So we also want to look at age. Okay. So the age of the kittens when you're finding them. And it can be a little difficult if you're not typically handling lots of kittens, which we do in a year. You can look at them and be like, I don't know, are they 1 week old? Are they 8 weeks old? I'm really unsure. So we have Alley Cat Allies is a national group. They do a great job all about trap, neuter, and return for cats that are not suitable to be put in homes. And they have a wonderful aging chart, which we're including a link to on our webpage. So Shannon, I don't know if you can. I can show
a little bit. Mine is black and white because I use a black and white printer. But you won't be able to really read this, but you'll see it shows the photos of cats as they progress through their ages, and this is really helpful. Mm-hmm. You guys don't. I work at the front desk. I don't work hands-on with animal care, but I think just from learning this chart, even when new kittens come in, I'm able to kind of give a fairly accurate estimate. I'm kind of impressed with myself.
Yeah.
But we'll have this up on our website as well. But it's a really great thing. It goes from newborn to 10 weeks, different indicators and just photos. You can really see the difference in the kittens. So definitely reaching out for some of those resources is great, but it will help you know kind of where they're at in that kind of within that newborn to 2-month range.
Absolutely. And really we talk about age because knowing having a ballpark on their age gives you an indicator of kind of how long you can wait before you step in and intervene. If they are running around and, active, they're coordinated, they're able to walk really well and jump and play, typically they're going to be at least 5 weeks old. And you can wait, several hours to see if mom is going to come back. They're already starting to eat on their own. They're doing their thing. They're becoming little cats, and they are able to, withstand a few hours away. If you're finding younger than that, ones that their eyes aren't open, that they can't, they're moving, but they're kind of unsteady.
Yeah.
Look like they've maybe had a little bit too much to drink. They're kind of struggling along. Those are young, and they really shouldn't wait any more than a couple hours.
I say we usually when kittens are in foster, let's say if we are bottle feeding, we feed at that age we feed every 2 hours.
Every 2 hours.
So I think mom would be there. So mom's not going to leave them for longer than that. So we definitely, if you're watching them for 2 hours and you haven't seen mom, then that's definitely time to step in because they're not, when they're that young, they're not away from mom that long.
No. And they're very vulnerable to getting dehydrated if they're not regularly having that milk come in. They need to be stimulated to go to the bathroom. So again, that's really why having that very short window that you want to watch and see if mom comes back. Otherwise, step in and do get them the care that they need. It's also dependent upon the situation. So if you're finding them in a vacant lot where there's a lot of activity and cars and, things going on, if it's not a safe situation, let's err on the side of caution and get those little guys out of there.
Under your shed versus the parking lot behind the 7-Eleven, curled up behind the dumpster.
Right.
Think of it. I mean, it's really it's that simple. Yeah. Like, are they someplace where mom tucked them away so they're safe? Are they sheltered from the weather? Are they sheltered from predators? Are they safe, or are they kind of out in the open and need rescuing?
Absolutely. In some cases, we have had kittens brought to us that people found just in a box on the side of the road. So certainly they need to come to us.
Yeah, they didn't just show up there.
They didn't just no. Mom did not leave them there.
No.
So someone stepped in and and put them there. So certainly again, the situation is really important. If it seems safe and mom is protecting them, okay, monitor. If not, bring them in.
We will have these materials available for you to help you with that. A lot of it is common sense.
It is.
Like, you just gotta say, like, okay, does this make sense that this is where mom would leave the kittens?
Yeah.
Do they look healthy? How little are they? Just really think about the situation. And this, you guys can't see this, but this handout is really good, and we'll have that up on the website as well, right?
Yes. And this is actually a resource from the Kitten Lady, who, if you guys don't know her, definitely check out her website. She does amazing work on orphaned kittens, trap, neuter, return for cats that can't be in homes. Just awesome stuff.
She has great aging guides and things like that.
She does.
I actually went to a presentation of hers, I think it was 2 years ago. She was here in Maine, and that was so enlightening. I was so happy that I was able to go. But you can find her here on Facebook. She has lots of YouTube videos. She has an Instagram presence. You can just find her website. But yeah, that's a great resource. One, if you need help or you're just interested in getting involved with cat rescue or TNR and things like that, she's a great place to go. Look for information.
Absolutely. And she, she's talking about, should I bring kittens into my casa? So it's the condition, age, situation, and then the last component is ability. And that's kind of a question for each one of you. Can you care for little tiny baby kittens. You know, it is a skill. You have to learn how to bottle feed them, how to age them properly.
It's a huge commitment.
It's a very, very large commitment. And that's why we at the shelter have we have a team, an amazing team of foster homes who do this. And they are skilled. They have been doing this for years. Mm-hmm. They have taken, the trouble, the sick little kittens and nursed them back to health. I mean, it's really amazing the work that they do.
Yeah, our fosters, I mean, honestly, the fosters are such an important piece of the work that we do here at the shelter. Mm-hmm. And I am appreciative of all of our fosters. Mm-hmm. But I have to say the bottle baby fosters, I mean, they're just, it's above and beyond because it is a commitment. I mean, I said, these kittens, even just being 2 to 3 weeks old, they're being fed round the clock, and you have 4 of them. Mm-hmm. By the time you finish feeding and cleaning and expressing one, you're ready to start all over again. It's like having a newborn human, really. Mm-hmm. So the fact that people do this and volunteer their time and their energies to help us with this, it's amazing. It is. But that being said, we're always recruiting new volunteers, even if you don't want to do bottle babies. Yep. That's a big step. Yep. But we are always recruiting new fosters, so you can fill a volunteer application right on our website and indicate that you're interested in fostering, and we can get you set up. Mm-hmm. And often we do start off with something a little less intense. Right.
The easier ones.
Yeah.
Like if we can get mom with the babies.
Yes.
That makes it a lot easier because she's doing the heavy lifting overnight.
Absolutely.
As long as something doesn't go wrong and she stops feeding them, which you're there to monitor. Mm-hmm. But she's doing the 1 a.m. feeding, so you don't have to get up and do that, which is really nice.
Yes, absolutely. And so that's being said, we didn't mention it too about pregnant cats. If you find a cat outdoors and you think it's pregnant, sometimes it's hard to know, but sometimes I think it's quite obvious. Yep. That is a cat that you probably don't necessarily, I'm going to say in my opinion, you don't really want to wait on because if we can get mom into the shelter and get her settled and fostered before she's having those kittens, that makes, I think, our work a little bit easier because once she has those kittens, it's a little more involved with collecting and trapping mom if necessary and things like that. So if you have a concern about a seemingly pregnant cat, definitely reach out to us. And at any time, if you have questions and you're like, I'm not really sure if I should be calling ACO or calling the shelter, call us and ask. And if it's something that we are like, no, that's better suited to chat with the ACO about, we're going to give you their information. And there's also on the main, I will say on the main.gov website, you can search for ACO listing and you can put in your town and it will give you your contact information for your animal control officer. I find that's the easiest way to refer people because that's always in that one location. Absolutely. But if you have questions, just call us.
Yeah. And for those of you, perhaps your own cat has had kittens or, you just find some and you want to try it yourself, certainly we're here as a resource. That's why we're here. So if you find kittens and you want to help out, perhaps you want to, step into fostering. Again, the Kitten Lady videos are great. They teach you how to feed. They teach you how to stimulate them to go to the bathroom. They troubleshoot, all sorts of different medical conditions. But it really is a good thing to bring them in because we have veterinarians, we have trained technicians who can take a look for things like ringworm or worms. We deworm them, upon intake. Because there are certainly medical concerns that can pop up even with really young little kittens, especially if they're outdoors. Fleas, ticks. Getting fleas on a newborn kitten.
It's a totally different situation than getting it on your adult cat or your dog. It really is. Yeah. I've seen little kittens come in and that are just covered, and we're sitting there picking them off one by one. And that's something that can be overwhelming to a young kitten.
Absolutely. They're also extremely vulnerable to being bathed with any sort of shampoo, different chemicals. They're just so sensitive, and it makes sense. You think of a newborn baby. We're so careful with them and what touches their skin and what they eat. Newborn kittens, the heat.
Like, are they warm enough? Are they too warm? Yes. Especially as thinking of how warm it was the other day.
Right.
Certainly, right. Depending on where they're being kept by mom, is that temperature-wise going to be safe for them?
Yeah.
There's so many things to consider.
Yes. Yeah. And so, when in doubt, err on the side of reaching out. Call us and ask us. Call the animal control officer. We're here to help. We're here to answer questions and to help you kind of troubleshoot. And even if there's not something, if coming into the shelter isn't the right thing, we're going to try to point you in the right direction and give you the resources you need to help those kittens or that cat thrive where they are. Let me see if there's something else. So, like I said, we're going to have all of this stuff up on our webpage, and we do right on gahumane.org. We have a lost and found tab. If you're looking kind of right across the top of the header, there's a lost and found, and that's where we have a lot of our tips and tools. If you lose an animal, you can find the link to the Petco Love Lost. You can find the different kind of flowcharts that we've been talking about today. We're going to have those there. We'll be posting this as well, and just other basic information. All the animal control officers, their names and numbers are listed there by town. And we also have a lost reporting form. So if you lose a cat, that's a great way to let us know, or a dog for that matter.
Absolutely.
So there's a good amount of information.
Yeah,
there.
absolutely. And I think I could be saying this out of turn, but I think we'll probably have this stuff on our resource tab too.
Yes.
So we want to make this very accessible for you guys, and as we are adding resources to our website, we're trying to concentrate them in that one area, as well as in the different headings that they might fall under. So,
yes.
Definitely check it out. Even if you're not in need of that information right now, take a look at the website and familiarize yourself with where things are, so that in the future, if you need them, you're not like, oh my gosh, where is that? No, hey, I've seen this before. I know where to go. That can be helpful as well.
Absolutely. And, I think summer is our busiest time. So, as the shelter, we take in a lot of cats, adult cats. And certainly, kittens, they're in need. But if we can try to stem the tide of owned, healthy cats that don't need to come into us, I think the research has shown that adult cats are 13 times more likely to be reunited with their owners if they stay in the community versus coming to a shelter. And that makes us feel really badly, because we feel like we're doing a bad job. But we post any cat that we find, that comes in as a stray, but a lot of folks just don't think to seek out their cat at the shelter.
And something else is the stray hold in Maine for a cat.
So short.
It's 48 hours. That means that when that cat comes into the shelter, after 48 hours, they're started on the path to being adopted by someone. So they could be, if they hit it at the right time and we had spay-neuter available, within 5 days, they could already be getting adopted out to a new home. And it's hard because, like, that's unfortunate. It's just how it is with the law. But that's a very short window that a cat could even be here at the shelter. If they're healthy and doing fine, they get spayed or neutered, they get updated in their vaccines, they could be out of here just within a matter of days. So certainly getting on top of this, if your cat's missing, it's always a really good idea, because that does happen quite quickly.
It does, yeah. So you should be asking around, calling, almost immediately once you discover your cat is lost. And again, that stresses the importance of, if you find a cat that's hanging around your house for a couple of days, ask around. We don't want, your neighbor's cat coming in here and then having them have no clue, not think to ask, and then that cat gets adopted out by another family, and your neighbors are heartbroken thinking their cat got hit by a car, or they don't know. That's a really bad situation we would like to be able to avoid.
And it's not uncommon that people say, oh, well, my cat's an indoor-outdoor cat, and sometimes in the nice weather they stay out for a day or two. That happens as well. So if you're seeing that same cat, doing a little bit of homework and finding out if they're just a neighborhood cat can be really the difference between them staying with their families or getting kind of relocated. And that can be hard on the cat and the family. So
it can be. And to wrap up, I think we just want to stress again the importance of microchipping, because I can tell you, when we get a stray cat in, at the front desk and our animal care staff, the first thing we do is we scan that cat for a microchip. And we all do a little bit, I think, at least I do. I don't know if you do, Shannon, but I do a little happy dance.
I just did it. Did you
do
see
one?
me? We just had a stray cat came in and I was like, boop. And I was like, yes.
Yes, it's amazing. That feeling is so good because we know we're going to be able to get that cat home where it's loved and not have to go through the whole process. Because we know, hey, this cat's in great shape. This cat looks really healthy. Someone's missing him. And microchips are the way to make that reunification happen. And if your cat will tolerate a collar, a visible ID tag as well. Not every cat will. Some of them are very naughty and not like mine. They just keep yanking them off.
They're like, no.
No matter how hard I try. But that's another good way. Certainly having that visible ID. And then if you're seeing a cat in the community that has a collar and tag, you know who the owners are as well.
Absolutely. We do microchipping here at the shelter. It's $20. Anyone can have their pets microchipped with us. We do ask that you make an appointment right now so you can give us a call and we can get that scheduled for you. We also do the registration and you can always update the registration online at no charge for the lifetime of the pet. So a $20 investment and then your time to update it on the website when needed can be the difference between your pet being reunited with you or not, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
We also do, we can make ID tags. We have those, there's a small fee for those, but we engrave them right here. So we can do all of that in one fell swoop by just coming in and calling to make an appointment and coming in.
Yeah. Yep. So we highly encourage that. If you've got cats that aren't microchipped or don't have tags, check us out. Make an appointment, come on in. We'd love to help because overall we want to help make sure that cats are kept with their families.
Absolutely.
Where they're loved and kittens get the care and support that they need.
Absolutely.
So,
And if you guys have any questions, like I said, you can call. You can also send us a message here on Facebook. We do man that during our business hours and get back to you. Pretty quick with that sometimes. We have a couple staff members that man that. You can pop us if it's not urgent, you can pop us an email. And overnight, things will be attended to the next day. So if it's an emergency, especially overnight, that's one thing. If you're calling about something emergent, do know that we're not manned 24 hours. So if you need immediate assistance, you want to reach out to your animal control officer or local law enforcement or the emergency clinic, something like that.
Yes.
Because people oftentimes will get a phone call and it's like, it's at 8:00 at night and they say, oh, I just found these kittens and their eyes aren't open. And by the next morning when we're getting the message at 9:00, that's been 13 hours for a little kitten like that. That could be life and death.
Yes.
So not to be morbid, but it can be.
It certainly can be, which is why, the Kitten Lady videos, just the information, if you do find them overnight and they don't go to the e-clinic, at least it gives you some tips and tools of how to help support them overnight until they can come in here. But certainly, the emergency clinic, that's what it's there for. And when you come, they'll often just give one of myself or a couple of our other staff members a call saying, hey, we've got, a litter of stray kittens. You guys take them. Yep. And then we'll pick them up in the next morning, but they're getting the care that they need overnight, which is really important.
Yep. So just reach out. If we can be of any help, we want to be. So reach out to us.
Absolutely. And good luck if you're finding cats and kittens. Keep us in the loop. And hopefully this summer is a great one for all of you and for all of the cats and kittens in our community.
And I will say we've gotten lots of calls about people looking to adopt kittens. They're coming, guys.
Yep.
Keep an eye on our website. Fill out that application when you see someone that you're interested in.
Yep.
Pretty soon here, within the next week or two, I think we're going to start having them on a very consistent basis.
Yes.
So if you're looking to adopt, keep an eye on the website and get those applications in.
Right. And we'll see you soon.
Okay. Have a great day.